Welcome back, viewers, to the latest researches and news. Currently, we have latest updates from Raya Kobo front. As we mentioned in a previous video, residents in the area had reported hearing heavy gunfire. Now we've received the latest information from credible sources indicating that this has developed into active heavy fighting on the Raya Kobo front. Let's go through what's being reported, where exactly this is happening, why this particular location carries so much weight, and what it might mean going forward. According to these reports, fighting has been ongoing since the morning in Raya Kobo Woreda, North Wulo Zone, Amhara region, between Tigray Defense Forces and Fano forces on one side, and the Ethiopian National Defense Force on the other. Fighting has specifically been reported around Walker Village and the Chobi Bear area, as well as on the outskirts of Kobo city itself. According to these reports, Tigray Defense Forces reportedly established positions on the outskirts of Kobo overnight, after which a coordinated assault was reportedly carried out together with Fano forces. There are claims circulating of heavy losses on the Ethiopian National Defense Force side, but I want to stress clearly these casualty claims have not been independently verified at this stage. In fact, as of this update, no confirmed casualty or loss figures have been received from any side involved in this fighting, so we're treating all of these numbers as unconfirmed for now. According to the recent reports, the Tigray Defense Forces had already taken control of positions around the Kobo area. This development is important when we consider the update I shared in my previous video, in which I reported that the Ethiopian National Defense Force had moved some of its heavy artillery from Kobo toward Wuldia. If these reports are accurate, the movement of the artillery could indicate that the Ethiopian National Defense Force was already aware of the possibility of increased tensions or military activity around Kobo. In that situation, repositioning some of its heavy weapons toward Wuldia may have been a precautionary measure intended to protect its equipment and maintain a stronger defensive position. However, this does not necessarily confirm that the Ethiopian National Defense Force was expecting a major offensive. It simply suggests that the military may have assessed the situation around Kobo as potentially unstable and adjusted the deployment of its heavy artillery accordingly. The latest reports about Tigray forces taking positions around Kobo could therefore provide additional context for why some Ethiopian National Defense Force heavy weapons were reportedly moved toward Wuldia. Alongside this, there are also reports of a broader Tigray Defense Forces entry into North Wulo more generally, with Raya Kobo, Gidan, and Lasta Woredas being named as target areas. As a direct consequence, thousands of civilians are reportedly being displaced from these areas. This didn't come out of nowhere. Tension on this front has been building for a while. The Ethiopian National Defense Force had already sent reinforcements and heavy weaponry into the area, while deployment activity was also reportedly ongoing from the Tigray side. Drone strikes had also been reported in the broader area before this latest escalation. So today's fighting fits into a pattern we've already been tracking closely over recent updates, rather than representing a sudden, isolated event. Now let's talk about why this specific location is so significant, because the geography here genuinely explains a lot about why both sides keep contesting it. Kobo, the administrative center of Raya Kobo Woreda, sits directly on the main highway corridor that runs from Addis Ababa north through Amhara toward Tigray, specifically the Addis Ababa-Adigrat route, positioned roughly 189 kilometers south of Mekelle. In practical terms, that makes Kobo a critical transit point. This road is one of the primary corridors connecting central Ethiopia to the north, so whoever holds Kobo effectively holds meaningful influence over movement, supply, and reinforcement along that entire stretch. Geographically, Kobo Woreda itself borders Tigray region directly to the north and Afar region to the east, with Gidan Woreda to its west, which is exactly why this area sits right at the intersection of so many of the conflict's active fronts. The landscape around Kobo is also notable. It's a broad fertile plain that's separated from the Afar lowlands by the Zobil Mountains, a range that rises over 2,000 meters, the same mountain range we've mentioned in earlier updates regarding Ethiopian National Defense Force positioning. Putting that together, Kobo isn't just another town, it's a choke point. Control over it affects highway access between Amhara and Tigray. It sits at a junction between three regions, and it's bordered by terrain that itself has military relevance. That combination is a big part of why this specific front keeps generating so much reported activity compared to some other, less strategically positioned areas along the broader border. A few things about this update stand out. First, the description of an overnight positioning followed by a coordinated attack suggests, if accurate, a degree of planning rather than a spontaneous clash. That kind of sequence typically points to a deliberate operation rather than an accidental encounter between patrols. Second, the fact that displacement is already being reported alongside active fighting tells us this isn't a small contained skirmish displacement. On this scale, usually only happens when fighting is intense enough or expected to last long enough that residents feel they can't safely remain. That said, it's worth repeating that none of the casualty figures or claims of heavy losses have been confirmed by any independent source yet, and we don't have verified information on the actual military outcome of this fighting so far. Given how strategically important Kobo is, both to Amhara-Tigray connectivity and to the wider regional balance we've discussed in previous updates, this is a development we'll be watching very closely. The situation remains fluid, and we're continuing to monitor it as new information comes in. We'll bring you a confirmed update as soon as we have verified details on casualties, territorial control, or any further developments. Subscribe the channel for more latest updates. Thanks for watching.